Hi everybody, so we're going to talk about should you buy a high mileage car. So whether you've just passed your driving test or whether you've been driving for a few years and you're looking at a different type of car, or you're looking at your first car, high mileage cars, they've got advantages and disadvantages, so I'm going to try and cover a few areas that will help give you a better idea. Now I'll give you a good example. This car I'm driving now, it's 4 years old. It's a Honda. It's got 97,000 miles on it. When I was a young lad, I got told, don't touch a car over 50,000 miles, it's not going to last. Right? Now, they last a lot longer. And whenever I've got a service, and this is the key to making the car last longer, the engine, is regular services. So if you're going to consider buying a high mileage car, consider the service history. If it's got a full service history, make sure it's been stamped by a proper company. I don't mean some tin pot company in the corner. I mean a proper garage that does proper services. Ideally, a main dealer, because they'll give it a good service then. And when I was at Honda, and I've been there, quite a few times over the years, and I've asked a few times to different reps who are there. I say, how long does the engine last in the Honda Jazz, or the Honda in general? I say. And they'll say, well, you've got a petrol one, which is what we've got, and it's serviced regular. So we're talking about 250,000 miles, maybe a bit more. Depends how you look after it when you're driving. And that's something to think about also. If it's a diesel car, by the way, you're talking 2 to 3 times as many miles as that. Right? But don't just go out and run and buy a diesel, because what you've got to say is the rest of the car's got to last as well. Because this is the thing, the engine will last in this car till 250,000 miles on average. But the shocks, the bushes, the exhaust, there's going to be wear and tear. The pipes, they're going to corrode eventually. So you're going to have to replace things. And that is for any car that's getting old. So the older the car, the more you're going to have to look at replacing little bits every now and then. But the advantage of buying an older car that's got high mileage is it's going to cost less to buy. So it's going to be cheaper to buy. But if you buy a high mileage car that's not very old, then it's going to be a little bit cheaper than buying a low mileage car, but not as cheap as buying an old car, if that makes sense. So there's different ways to look at it. And I suppose what you could look at is, I'll say, my last car, 5 years old it was, so it's not very old, and when I sold it on, 197,000 miles, right? And it was running fine. But I got rid of it because I thought it was a good time to get rid of it at the time, and it is high mileage, and Honda are telling me that it's fine for another 50,000 miles, which seems loads for everyone, but you're talking, for me, a year at that point. So I thought I'd get rid of it, give it to someone else, sell it cheap, and it went within a couple of hours on Auto Trader straight away. It just sold because someone come along, snapped it up because he was buying a 5-year-old car that was cheap, high mileage, service history straight away. Someone got a bargain, and most people don't do up to 45, 50,000 miles a year. Most people do about 12, 15 if you're lucky. So whoever bought it, I don't know who it was, they've got a good bargain there, Now, what you want to say is, who are you buying it off? Because I'm a driving instructor, so I tend to look after my car because it's my business. Taxi person who runs taxis, they're exactly the same. They're going to look after their car because it's in their interest, because if it breaks down, they're losing money. Another one you could look at is a company car or a fleet car. If any of them, you can see a high mileage car that's kind of 5, 6 years old, it's going to be pretty cheap, isn't it, compared to a low mileage car similar age. So they're the things that you need to consider. And if you consider that and you look at your budget, so all these things you can think about, you'll be fine. So I'm hoping this little insight to what you want to start thinking about when you buy a car helps you. If it does, give it the thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, click on that subscribe button.